you buy a 5D Mark IV? Okay, why would you buy that?
I bought myself a 5D Mark IV late last year, and we're currently halfway through this year. I sort of feel like I need to re-justify to myself exactly why I bought this camera. So is the 5D Mark IV still worth it in 2019? Yeah, I hope so. Over the past few weeks, I've been working on a documentary about a violin maker. It's a bigger project that I'm used to, and I decided to shoot it all on my 5D. But before I even got to shooting, I didn't think the 5D would be a good enough camera to carry the project in any way. I desperately wanted to shoot in 4K, but I had to do a 1080p timeline because the codec of the 4K is way too cumbersome. It's a massive file size, and I couldn't ever possibly shoot a 40-minute interview on the 5D. And as well as that, there's a slow motion limit of 50 frames per second. Put together with an 8-bit 422 color, I wasn't too excited about shooting a big project with this camera. I was stuck telling myself what a lot of artists tell themselves, that my equipment wasn't good enough. And I had convinced myself that I'd effectively ruined the film before I've even shot it due to the camera's inadequacies. And then I actually shot the film last week, and the experience was bliss. Everything just worked. I shot the B-roll in 4K, and only the interview was shot in 1080. All that doubt and lack of confidence was in my head. It was a thing that was taught to me from watching videos like these on the internet. Yeah. Which, funnily enough, that reminds me, if you want to see more videos exactly like that, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell and like buttons and do all the YouTube things. That was a shameless plug, but you should do it. Anyways, please subscribe. So here's a couple reasons why I personally like the 5D. One of the most important components when it comes to modern Canon cameras, which I'd argue they are really second to none with, is their autofocus. Dual pixel autofocus is phenomenal, and I trust it. I honestly don't know how I ever shot without it. As a person who mostly shoots YouTube and documentary format content, autofocus is necessary because I'm shooting run and gun pretty much all the time. And when it doesn't work, to fix it, it's as simple as just tapping the touchscreen on the camera. And an equally important facet that Canon strive with is their color science. The ability just to pick up and shoot and not really have to tweak the colors in the edit is imperative for the way that I shoot. And yes, I know professionals only shoot log and raw, but that doesn't really work for the work that I like to do. I'd rather have time to sleep than spend my nights color correcting. Then there's the lens mount, and this is slowly becoming less and less of a reason to go to Canon, but still at the moment they have more lenses than Sony's E-mount and some of Panasonic systems, which means you have more options for lenses that are natively mounted to their camera, and lenses that have existed for a much longer time and have been really tried and tested. But everything I've mentioned so far is to do more so with Canon than specifically the 5D. For the things that I like about the 5D are the build quality. It is built like a tank. You can use and abuse it and it'll survive. Most of my shooting, because of where I live, happens by or at the beach. So knowing that the camera is quite tough lets me relax quite a lot when I'm shooting. As well as that, especially when compared with mirrorless cameras, battery life is a breeze. One battery will last me 1 day of casual shooting, and if I'm shooting professionally, I'll probably only need 2 for a whole day. There's also dual card memory, which I didn't realize how much I would appreciate until I actually had a camera with it for the first time, which has just been great. And perhaps most importantly, what I really like about the 5D Mark IV is that it's a DSLR. DSLRs are built for photography. You have that mirror, so you have a real viewfinder, and it's so much easier to shoot. The ergonomics are perfect for having the camera right up to your face, and it just works. I've never shot more photos in my life than I have with this camera. It just works. But yeah, do any of these factors make the Canon 5D Mark IV worthwhile in the context of all the other options that you can purchase in 2019? Well, to me, it does. The 5D Mark IV is pretty much one of Canon's best DSLRs, only sharing that podium with the 1DX Mark II. All this talk of DSLRs being dead may be true for the pure filmmakers out there, but I'm a hybrid shooter. Photography is just as important to me as filmmaking. I tried out the mirrorless revolution and I stepped back to a DSLR. It's a brilliant camera for 2 things, but it's really a compromise. But don't get me wrong, I still really do miss having in-body image stabilization. That was my favorite part about when I had a Sony mirrorless camera. Ultimately, my ideal camera is neither a DSLR nor a mirrorless camera. It's in fact a cinema camera, because hey, Cinema cameras are designed specifically with filmmaking in mind, and you've got to set your goals somewhere, so they're expensive though. They're really expensive. And also remember this, if you shoot video, pretty much every camera is a mirrorless camera because video is just a sensor and a lens, so keep that one in mind. In the end, for me, the 5D Mark IV is totally worth every cent, still in 2019, so. But don't hassle me if you buy one per my recommendation, because I'm only an individual and you should probably use more sources. But yeah, thanks for watching. One last thing before we end this video, I have an announcement to make, and that's that I'm going to be making videos twice a week starting of today. Every Monday and Friday I will be uploading videos, and that's for as long as I can manage, let's be real. But yeah, I'm really excited. The very next video that I'm releasing this Friday is going to be all about music in films and YouTube videos more specifically. So yeah, more content from me that you should be excited. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you already have, subscribe again. Hit those like buttons, hit notification bells. I already did a plug in the middle of the video, but do it twice or do it 4 times. And comment about the 5D. But I'm really bad at outros, so I'm just gonna walk out of frame. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on Friday.